Hello students, this is Kelly Park from the Chadwick Science Society, and today I will lead you through an activity related to the Earth's atmosphere. Did you know that there are different layers of the Earth's atmosphere? There are a total of 5 layers. Moving upward from ground level, these layers are named the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. The exosphere gradually fades away into the realm of interplanetary space. Each layer of the atmosphere has its own specific traits, and today we'll be making a foldable that contains information about each layer. The template for this foldable has been shared by the WiseNet, and the link to the PDF can be found in the description box below. Before we begin the construction, let us read about each layer first. Troposphere. This layer provides most of our weather. It contains about 4/5 of the Earth's air, but extends only to a height of about 11 miles at the equator and somewhat less at the poles. The name comes from a Greek word that refers to mixing. And mixing is exactly what happens within the troposphere, as warm air rises to form clouds, rain falls, and winds stir the lands below. Typically, the higher you go in the troposphere, the colder it gets. Stratosphere. This layer extends to a height of about 30 miles and includes the ozone layer, which blocks most of the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. The stratosphere is warmer than the troposphere because of the energy from the ultraviolet light absorbed by the ozone. At its base, the stratosphere is extremely cold, about -110 degrees Fahrenheit. At its top, the temperature has risen back nearly to freezing. Weather balloons reach the stratosphere. Mesosphere. In this layer, the air temperature drops again, down to nearly -180 degrees Fahrenheit at the top. Meteors generally burn up in the mesosphere, which extends to a height of about 52 miles. This is why the Earth's surface isn't pocked with meteor craters like the Moon's. Thermosphere. The thermosphere begins about 85 kilometers above the Earth. The highly diluted gas in this layer can reach 2500 degrees Celsius during the day. Even though the temperature is so high, one would not feel warm in the thermosphere because it is so near vacuum that there is not enough contact with the few atoms of gas to transfer much heat. The aurora borealis is caused by the collision of energetic charged particles with atoms in the high-altitude atmosphere. And last but not least, exosphere. The exosphere is the uppermost layer where the atmosphere thins out and merges with interplanetary space. It is located directly above the thermosphere. This tenuous portion of the Earth's atmosphere extends outward until it interacts with solar wind. Solar storms compress the exosphere. When the sun is tranquil, this layer extends further outward. Its top ranges from 620 miles to 6,214 miles above the surface, where it merges with interplanetary space. To begin, the materials you need are the printed PDF of the template, scissors, glue, and color pencils or crayons to decorate it. First of all, cut all of the different parts that are a part of the packet. However, do not cut out the page with the exosphere, as we will be gluing everything else onto that page. Before we proceed, make sure you have all of the 5 layers. Moving on, glue each of the layers on, using the glue guideline in the bottom of the page to help. Now that we have practically finished creating the foldable, all there is left to do is to decorate it. I used crayons to color in the earth and each layer and made each successive layer darker to accurately represent each layer. And that is it. I hope that you have learned more about the layers of the atmosphere through this lesson. Again, the link to the PDF for the packet is in the description box below. Also, I have linked other pages that you can visit to learn more about the Earth's atmosphere, so make sure to check those out too.